Aloha, everybody. This is Tiggy Maximus with Tiggy Maximus Talks, episode 151 on YouTube. Thank you guys for listening to these episodes, following, and subscribing to the podcast, Tiggy Maximus Talks. Um, there's a link on my Spotify episodes where you can make a small donation towards the podcast. Anything is appreciated, guys. And also remember to spread the word, tell your friends, family, co-workers, whoever about the podcast. Get to know more about sports, comedy, and food. So I like to provide that to you guys. So on this episode, I went to two great shows. One is at the American Comedy Company. Went to see Moshe Kasher. I keep seeing his name around. The guy just won like a daytime Emmy or something. So, guy's winning some awards and putting on some funny shows. So, he came through San Diego, and I just happened to score a ticket, a free ticket. Got a text from the American Comedy Company, and I redeemed it and got it myself a ticket. And I'm glad I went because that was a great show. Can easily say that with the host, the opener, and the headliner, um, that was easily the best show I've seen at the American Comedy Company. Um, I don't remember hearing a room like that with a lot of people laughing so much. It sounded like it was the whole room, except for maybe two people. It was a couple. And I could probably tell you that this couple probably enjoys more of the clean comedy, but is not going to be thrilled when it comes to stuff like um, execution, suicide, assassinations, JFK. So, uh, I could tell that when I sat next to them during the show, I'm guessing the only person they liked was Natasha Collier, who's the host. Um, she did pretty well. She has her main jokes about laundry and um, the secretary administrative assistant bit. So I would say she did pretty well with the crowd. Great way to warm up the crowd like that. Room was pretty much almost packed out. So, and this was the second show because I went to the Duckfoot show from 6:30 to almost 9. I had to head on over to the American Comedy Company and get to the 9:30 show, and you know, I got there right on time. Um, I did park by the Madhouse. There was a parking structure on F Street and 4th, and if you get your validation with the Madhouse, it's only $10 for parking. So, and given that the Madhouse and the American Comedy Company are very close to each other, it's worth it to park there, especially if you know there's validation for parking. But they might be very selective. So, be in their good graces. So, Natasha, 8.5. Great work as a host. And then my first time seeing this guy, Tim Young, coming from San Francisco. And I guess he was like a camera guy. So, guy's multi talented in that way. And wow, he did pretty well. He talked about the JFK assassination as part of his joke. And he talked about stuff like open minded, um, uh, you know, the word open-minded. Um, it was executed pretty well. Um, saying the word barely missed. So a lot of like terms. If you think about the JFK assassination, and honestly, it was just so out there that it made everybody laugh except for those two people. Um, that was when I started noticing this couple was, they were ready to leave, and especially when it got to the headliner, they actually left during the middle of Moesha's set. So, and I could tell that they didn't even sign off on their tab. Of course, when you go to the American Company Club, you have to give your credit card or debit card when you first start ordering food and drinks. So I guess I don't know. Maybe they might have tacked on a gratuity, an automatic gratuity if you don't sign off on your tab. But I think it might be more the case that if you forget your credit card, then they'll put it on there. So I don't know. Places tend to vary. So, um, I mean, I think they just simply scan your credit card and then keep it on record, and then you get back your debit card almost right away. So, I think that's how they do it. Um, so Tim Young kind of talked about, I guess, like friends and family, um, just some other stuff, and then when it got to like JFK, it was really good stuff. He got the crowd going. It's a nice way to kind of even even with the help of Natasha, but like Tim Young made it even more like loosen up for everybody, and everybody was having a good time. So I would say Tim Young, 9 out of 10. If you have a chance to book him on your show, do so. If you have a chance to go see him live, do so. Same thing with Natasha. Um, Natasha does do like Don't Tell, and she does a lot of shows. Big Cheese. Um, um, and then you got your headliner. So before the headliner, I did get some sliders without cheese with fries. Good stuff. 8.5 out of 10 for those sliders. Came with a pickle. Um, so Moshe Kasher, still my first time seeing him anywhere, and I know I've heard the name before, and I'm finally glad I got to see him because honestly, with his wheel of topics, he was super hilarious the entire time he was up there. Did some crowd work to start off with. He had to help himself remember who certain people in the front row were, and then when it got to like telling his jokes, um, uh, what was it? Um, I think he had some jokes about talking about being Jewish, funny stuff. Um, I'm trying to remember um, if he had said, I think he said, if you're Jewish and you're in your 30s, much less your 40s, and you're single, um, I guess maybe that just raises a red flag, I suppose, because I think it's encouraged that if you're Jewish and you're single, you should be doing it much younger. Get with somebody, but if you're already in your 30s and you're single and Jewish, then it's a different story. So And then he had some other jokes, did the crowd work, and then after the crowd work, he wanted to do the wheel of topics. So you spin the wheel, and it landed on a few topics um, like weird sex fantasy. Somebody in the crowd had pointed out that he spelled weird wrong. It actually says we rid and not weird. And then he just kind of went with it and says like, no, we rid you of these sex fantasies. We rid you. We're gonna bless you. Uh, in a way, like, I guess, I don't know, purify you of these sex fantasies. So, but some people, like, they knew it was supposed to be meant to say weird sex fantasies, and one lady had said and yelled out, having sex during a zombie apocalypse. That was like a weird sex fantasy. And then there was one guy behind me. He said the name Michael Cera, who you guys might remember. He was from Superbad. um, and then I guess there's something with Michael Cera. So apparently Michael Cera, um, I can't remember what movie he did this in, but apparently Michael Cera, apparently there was some sort of scene he did where he's getting a blowjob, but at the same time he's getting a blowjob, he's getting a finger up his butt at the same time. And the guy behind me says the Michael Cera sex fantasy. Of course, Moish, all he heard was Michael Cera. So like he thought that maybe it was just a weird sex fantasy with Michael Cera, but then he says of that action that in the scene from with Michael Cera where he got the blowjob and a finger up his butt. So that guy's weird sex fantasy. So there's one with favorite memories, but no one wanted favorite memories. And then yeah, that's all I can remember actually. So overall, he got a lot of laughs, great crowd work, great jokes, great timing and like pacing of like going from jokes to crowd work, and then having time to go and transition to the wheel, and then have some more jokes, and you know, I guess he did ask answer some questions that people might have had for him. So, oh, by the way, I think Moish saw my story on Instagram when I promoted the, or when I posted the, I guess you could say, the marquee with his name on it. So I guess he kind of is aware that someone tagged him for that. So yay. So overall, I would say Moshe Kasher show was 9.5 out of 10. So if he ever does like shows for people, book him on your show. Otherwise, wherever he's doing his shows at, go see him because he's super funny. 9.5. I really like this guy. So good show. I did go to the mic drop yesterday, Sunday, December 17th. It is a murder mystery comedy show. This time it takes place inside an office party. And it's a fun concept. You get to see some of the PowerPoints on the wall at the mic drop, see the bar graphs with the profits and stuff, and see pictures of what was it? Chet Chet at like the holiday party, Chet at the power plant, and there are some pictures with him and Sapna and Paula Diaz. So they don't look very enthusiastic in the photo. And of course, Chet, which is Christian Ricketts, um, he did like the Chet character did like a Secret Santa, and he rigged it with like a lot of gifts for himself, apparently. So, um, now I guess the character of Chet is like somewhat awkwardly fun, but racist. So, with that being the case, um, uh, so Camille Waters, she's again the comedy investigator. Um, Apparently, there was a white powder in one of the gifts for Chet, and he inhaled it, and then that's what killed him. So we get to start the murder mystery. So Camille wanted to interrogate Paula Diaz because apparently um, she had there's a photo of her kissing Santa. So again, this is my first time seeing Paula do comedy, so this is actually pretty cool. And then she's saying that how she thinks her boyfriend is gonna be buying her shoes for Christmas because she keeps seeing shoes everywhere, under the bed, in the closet. So, kind of insinuating that her boyfriend's cheating on her. And then was, I guess, turned on by Santa. She just says that she needs a ride home, and he volunteered. So that was pretty funny. Um, and then we got Carlos Figueroa. Um, he has like a very suspicious passport. I guess he has a Russian name. Um, actually, Carlos does kind of pass for Russian if you think about it. Um, but he's Latino. Um, he does has this joke about he looks like somebody who drinks condensed milk. So, yeah. um, then there's Jeff Grooms. I guess he works in cybersecurity. He talks about how he, uh, you know, he may have some suspicious PTO, pay time off. Says that he was cool with Chet, but of course, Chet was starting to appear very suspicious and guilty. Uh, and then we do have Michael Cologne. Great guy. I guess he works at security. Uh, he talks about being mixed, and so with Chet, he has like basically all these racist names for everybody. Um, and then I guess he paid Santa $25. But of course, as one of the clues, there was an invoice for like $15,000 for a double special. So I guess that means that there was supposed to be two victims. Only one, it was Chet, was killed. So of course the audience is questioning like, well, it says double, so is there supposed to be a second one? And then like, ooh, and then, well, I guess it turns out that Santa was a hired hitman, but somebody did hire him And it turns out it was, uh, I guess, Carlos and Michael. They were in on it. The two suspects that disappeared from the crime scene. So it was pretty cool. Last show at the what was it? I guess you could say it was a murder mystery at the mic drop. Um, I guess you could say it was took place in a comedy club, and Jeff Grooms was the suspect in that one. uh, I guess in this one it was Michael Cologne and Santa and Carlos. So it was a fun show. Um, I don't know if it had felt like if maybe the crowd didn't want to find the suspect because of maybe how it was kind of set up. So, because Camille had to ask the crowd like, should we find the culprits? But the crowd was like, no, let's like the fact that Chet is dead or something. So it might have veered away from actually solving the crime. So um, I would say overall, like with all the transitions, I'm gonna give this show like a 8.3 out of 10. So there are a lot of fun spots, a lot of funny spots, a lot of swerves with like, knowing more about these potential suspects and feeling bad for certain people, and then but Camille is great as an investigator. I believe that she's the main investigator. Probably should be the investigator for future shows. Um, Everybody did pretty well. It was nice seeing some new faces in the comedy scene for myself. So, and I'm there to support everybody. So, I did get to run into Chip Nicholson. Um, that was pretty cool. I also got to run into Cheryl Sonstein. We got to sit next to each other. So overall, great show, great venue. Can't wait to go to another show at the Mic Drop and other places. So, um, anywho, guys, those are my comedy show reviews. Um, I did split it between episodes 150 and 151. So I can't wait for the next show. It's a game set match comedy show hosted by Jarwan Nelson. Can't wait for that one at the Candy's Boom Boom Room in Pacific Beach. Also, I am going to the Chargers game against the Bills on Saturday at SoFi Stadium. So it's gonna be a weird vibe going to that game. So wish me luck there. Hopefully the Chargers can put up a fight. Anywho, guys, remember to have some good food, have some good company, watch some good shows, good comedy shows, and watch some good action like UFC 296. I'll talk about more sports, comedy, and food on episode 152. So stay tuned, guys. You know the saying goes, boom! Tiggy Maximus signing off. Baby. Late. There, guys.